time for communicating. Yes, I am your hustling homie, your platform partner. I was about to say the blockchain boss. I got so many different names, things I do, guys. But I am overall excited to be here with you right now, even if it's on a digital level. And this video is going to be about the main reason why most people are not successful. And we're going to go into the power of discipline. And not just that, but we're going to go into self-sabotage, the main reasons why people are not successful. So we're going to get into that right now. And you already know what time it is. It is time for communicating. All right, I wish I had some type of intro right there to come on. We're going to get an intro, guys. We're going to work on it. But let's get directly into the video. Boo! Okay, so first of all, when it comes to success, here's the thing. Most people they're not successful for about 3 reasons. I'm going to touch on these 3 reasons, and because I've seen this all over the world. Now keep in mind, I've worked with people on all sorts of levels, from corporate America, from street hustlers, from small entrepreneurs, from teams and athletic teams, from dealing with people who've overcome medical issues and mental issues. And success, it starts with, I'm going to tell you why most people are not successful. The first reason is because most people don't know what success really looks like. That means they have not defined success in their own mind. They haven't given it a meaning. See, that's a big problem. Most people, we're walking around with this idea of what success means, and it was sold to us by someone else who was probably unsuccessful, and more likely it was probably sold to us by someone who just wanted to take from us. And think about it, because I used to work for college admissions, and then as a college admissions rep, my job was to teach, to say, hey, I can help you be successful, I can help you reach your dreams, because that's what we wanted to do. But in order to do it, guess what? You got to take out $80,000 in loans that you may not ever pay back. And the reality is, and what you're learning inside of this school, the job may not even exist once you graduate, but you got a lifetime worth of loans for a job you never received. So a lot of people are being taught how to be successful by people that are really putting them in more unsuccessful positions, if that makes sense. So, and that's not just school. This also applies to things like when people are buying homes and they're going massive debt. People aren't being taught what it means to really be successful. So the first step is you have to create what a meaning for what does success mean for you. That's step 1. What does it mean for you? You have to create that meaning. What does it look like? It may not mean making $1 million a year. It might just mean you making $100,000 a year, but you're really happy because you get to travel and be with your family all day, every day, however you want to do it. So that's 1. Second reason most people are not successful, and here's the big one. I'm going to go straight. This is what I really want to make the video about, and that is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. This is the big one. The self-sabotage, this is like carbon monoxide, okay? Sometimes it can be odorless. It could be something that you can't see, and it just creeps up on you, and before you know it, bam, it got a hold on you, and it's lethal. It can be lethal. Self-sabotage, it can be. And self-sabotage is crazy because you can find yourself repeating a lot of cycles, and you don't know why. Every time you get to step 3, it's 3 steps to win. You get to the 3rd step and you just can't follow through, right? You're buying a new home, you got the home, but then it's like you're bringing negative people that are going to bring you down. It's like you can't seem to sustain the success. You get there, but you just let go at the very end. It's the lack of the follow through, and you go into these addictive cycles. And it's like, it's bad because the same thing, because you're not successful and you're chasing it, what happens is now you want to still feel good, so you now pursue pain, you pursue pleasure to relieve that pain, but now the pleasure that you pursue gives you more pain. And all you were trying to do was get the pleasure. So it's a cycle of pain and pleasure, trying to feel good, but you're feeling even worse in the long term. So self-sabotage. And first I want to say this. It's important that you enjoy the journey and not just the destination. Many times people have this dream of where they want to be, And I remember I competed in the world champion of public speaking, and by the time I competed for like, I don't know, 3-4 months nonstop. It was very tiring. You wanted to win, but by the time you got there and you won, you realized like it passed by so fast, and you were like, is this it? I remember, and I didn't enjoy the journey. It's like when I went to high school. I remember we went to prom. Everybody was talking about prom was going to be so cool. Like you thought prom was such a big thing. And then the actual day of prom, it was like pretty boring. Everybody's dressed up and, you go out and have a little fun and then that's it, and it's over. And so it's about enjoying the destination, the journey more than the destination, having fun on a daily basis. So we're going to talk a little bit, like I said, we're going to really get into this self-sabotage. And we got to keep in mind, first you got to acknowledge, are you committing self-sabotage? What are you doing? There's a war inside of yourself. And what is self-sabotage all about? Many times when I talk about this is my book that we're looking at as well, Shut Up and Hustle. You can find that on my website. The link should be in the description as well. But with self-sabotage, this is your brain. It's usually protecting you from getting hurt, right? It wants for you to be complacent. It wants for you to stay safe. It's doing what it thinks that's best. Okay. And this is also family can self-sabotage. Family may not want you to get hurt. They don't want you to be an entrepreneur. In many cases, sometimes they do, but they want you to do whatever they feel is the safest route. They don't want you to, like even with sexuality, right? Most people, they don't want for a child to probably be homosexual or lesbian because they think the world was going to treat them bad. So a parent doesn't want you to do anything that where the world is going to hurt you. And many times that may, for you, it may make you feel better to just be living your truth or whatever that may be. It don't have to be sexually, but it could be, again, your truth may be you want to be this roaring entrepreneur. You want to be an inventor. You want to be a traveler. You want to be a sailor and just sail on the water, on the Atlantic Ocean. All of this stuff, whatever it may be, is dangerous to the outside world, or at least to your family. So your family doesn't want to see you hurt, so they're self-sabotage. They'll say, well, don't take the risk, take the safe route. Even though they took the safe route and it didn't work for them, they'll tell you to do it. You do the same thing. We all do the same thing with self-sabotage. So self-sabotage is one of those things where you have to be very, 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 very careful of. And it comes in many forms. Now, how do you know if you are self-sabotaging yourself? What does that actually look like? Well, I'm about to show you guys here. Now, it's going to come in many forms. And a lot of times in self-sabotage, if you pay attention, this is why it's important you get a journal too. I want you guys to get a journal and pay attention if you are doing these activities, okay? And so that way you can point it out and get it together. That's another big issue that people don't have, that they don't do, is they're not recording, they're not documenting their success. So self-sabotage is going to show itself and in this way. So it will, for example, you'll be holding yourself back from taking risks. You'll always try to be safe, like I just said. Also, you'll choose purposely not to listen to instructions carefully. You almost like, I got it, I don't need to listen. You're doing that. This is when you don't take time to plan. You're just kind of doing things randomly. You don't want to plan things out. You're incapable of saying no to other people. Constantly telling people, yeah, I'll do it. You just don't want to say no. Because at the end of the day, it's almost like you don't care. It's almost like you're trying to avoid the success. Okay, all right, you don't value yourself, right? You don't value your time. And you're worrying a lot. You're doing a lot of worrying. You're worrying too much. You have way too much pride, so you don't even want to admit when you're wrong. You don't want to admit when you made a mistake. This is a sign of self-sabotage. This is holding you back. You are setting these unrealistic expectations for yourself and for other people. You're thinking people are going to go from 0 to 100 like overnight. You think people are going to go from a beginner to an expert overnight. Like, that's not going to happen. You're thinking people are going to go from broke to rich overnight. It's not going to happen. Right? That's a sign of self-sabotage. It doesn't work. That's not commitment. It doesn't sustain itself. All right? You're procrastinating all the time. Now, that's a big one. Now, let's talk about that. Procrastination is a huge form of self-sabotage because in your mind, you're thinking, well, I want this to be perfect. But really, it's because you're insecure. Really, you're afraid because you've been procrastinating so long, you're afraid people are not going to accept it. And the longer you procrastinate, the worse it gets because now it's building up. It's building up. It's growing. It's almost like a disease that you haven't treated it, and now it's just getting harder and harder to repair. So you have to be comfortable with not being perfect, right? Don't try to be perfect. And self-sabotage is really it boils down to you having self-doubt, lack of self-worth. And I'm gonna tell you another exercise you can do. What you can do is grab a sheet of paper and write on that sheet of paper, put 2 columns and put strengths and put opportunities. On the left side, I want you to put all of the things, the strengths. I want you to put at least 5 things on there, at least 5, that makes you a good person. 5 things that make you a good person. Now, this could be anything from, hey, I don't steal. I haven't stolen from anybody. It may be something on that list like, hey, I take care of my children. I'm in my children's life all the time. I love them dearly. It could be I pay all of my taxes. Okay. It could be I like to help less fortunate people. Things like that. Things that make you a good person. Second type of the list, on the second half, I want you to write down opportunities. Things where you can improve. Now, this is what makes you a bad person that you don't really like about yourself. This opportunity may be, hey, you know what? I cheated in my relationship and I'm unhappy about it. I'm still ashamed that I cheated in my relationship. Or it may be, you know what? I don't spend enough time with my parents and it really hurts me that I don't do that. You know, or it may be whatever, make a negative thing that you don't like about yourself, that you're unproud of, that makes you a bad person in your mind. You have to write that down. Now, the key is to take all of those opportunities and start really working on those. Start literally taking action, forgiving yourself. First of all, forgive yourself. If you have regret, forgive yourself. Try to let it go. See if there is a way where you can potentially be able to redo the experience, do a start over. And accept and embrace it for what it is and move on and try to get better at it. Because a lot of self-sabotage is you believe you don't deserve something. Somewhere deep down, it's dealing with your self-worth. So you have to overcome that self-worth by acknowledging it, writing it down, and overcoming those regrets. And so these are some of the steps that you can take. Writing that down, but you gotta definitely acknowledge when you're going through it as well. And I talk about it right here. I talk about writing that list that makes you a good person, identifying the behavior that self-sabotage, surrounding yourself by other people who have a track record of success as well, practicing new behaviors until a habit is formed. So we talk about these things until it becomes a new lifestyle. So I go deep in this in my book, but I want you to keep in mind success really boils down to, it's a psychological thing. You have to define what success means for you. You also have to really stop self-sabotaging yourself by trying to be so perfect. You just really enjoying this journey, being happy, believing in yourself, listening to your own, not just your body, not just your own gut, but listening to your spirit. And doing what you feel is right for your family and for you overall, for all of y'all, but then for you too as well. So stop the self-sabotage. If you want to learn more details about this, again, this is in my book. And my book is Shut Up and Hustle, the indispensable guide on how to live your dreams by thinking like an immigrant. You can find that Dr. Jackson 360. I got the link, should be in the description. Also, you can find it on my website as well. And I look forward to being able to help y'all with more in the future. Peace.